Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank all of you for being here today. It's a subject that really matters to me, like it does to all of us. But in the past, we've treated what little protections people have online as something that's separate from those we have in our day-to-day lives, offline. But the line between what happens online and offline is virtually non-existent. Gone are the days when we can separate one from the other. Millions of Americans have been affected by data breaches and privacy abuses. The numbers are so large that you can't even wrap your head around them. I mean, I've talked to members here, and they don't even at times understand what has happened or how people have collected data about us. The resources to help folks protect themselves after the fact are desperately needed, but what's really happening is that the cost of failure to protect sensitive information is being pushed on millions of people who are being breached and not trying to do anything. It's a market externality, and that's where the government, I believe, must step in. You go to the pharmacy to fill a prescription, you assume that the medicine you're going to get is going to be it's going to be safe. It's not going to kill you. If you go outside, you assume that the air you breathe, you assume, is going to be safe, or we're trying to make it that way. And that's because we have laws that protect people from a long list of known market externalities, and the burden isn't placed on their ability to find out, is the medicine you're taking okay, safe, and is the air you're breathing clean? We're still working on that, but it's one we've identified. It shouldn't be any different for market externalities that are digital. So, Ms. Bickert, I will admit I've sent a letter to Facebook today, which has a lot of questions that didn't lend themselves to answer here, so I hope that they will be answered. But I'd like to get yes or no answers from the panel on the following questions. And I'm going to start this way with Mr. Harris, because we always start with you, Ms. Bickert, and we'll give you a little. And thank you for being here, even though you're sick. Do you believe that the selling of real-time cell phone location without users' consent constitutes a market externality? Mr. Harris.
I don't know with that specific one, but the entire surveillance capitalism system produces vast harms that are all on the balance sheets of societies, whether that's the mental health of children, the manipulation of elections, the breakdown of polarization.
But it's a market externality.
It's absolutely all market externality.
Okay, let's go down. Mr. Hurwitz.
Based on the economic definition of an externality, no, it is not. However, it can be problematic.
Dr. Donovan.
In line with Gus.
Ms. Bickert.
I'm not an economist, but we do think user consent is very important.
But second question, yes or no? Do you believe that having 400 million pieces of personally identifiable information made public, including passport numbers, names, addresses, and payment information, is a market externality? Mr. Harris?
Similarly, on sort of the classic economic definition, I don't know if that would specifically qualify, but it's deeply alarming.
Same answer.
Agreed.
Same answer.
So are you all agreeing with Mr. Harris?
Same answer as I gave previously. It's not the technical economic definition.
See if we had gotten you to understand what a bother it is. 3, do you believe that having 148 million individuals' personally identifiable information, including credit card numbers, driver's license, and social security numbers, made public is a market externality? Mr. Harris?
I can see it's sort of like an oil spill externality.
Mr. Hurwitz?
Same answer.
So you don't think it's a problem?
I don't not think it's a problem. I wouldn't categorize it as an externality and use it as a just.
So you don't think we've got to protect people from that?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I have an economics background. I rely on a more technical definition of an externality.
Dr. Donovan?
It's an incredibly important problem.
Ms. Bickert?
Yes, I would echo Dr. Donovan.
Do you believe that having the data of 87 million users taken and used for nefarious political purposes is a market externality? Mr. Harris?
I think it's the same answer as before.
Yep.
It's with this classic.
If I break into your house and steal your stuff and sell it on the black market, that is not an externality. However, it is a problem.
Dr. Donovan?
Well, I wouldn't characterize it as a break-in. It was facilitated by the features built into the platform, and it's a huge problem.
Thank you. Ms. Bickert?
Again, we think that user control and consent is very important.
Okay, I'm going to do the last question. I'm out of time, so you're going to have to be fast. And finally, do you believe that simply asking whoever took it to please delete it is an appropriate response? Mr. Harris?
It's very hard to enforce that, and once the data is out there, it's distributed
Can't put the
everywhere.
genie,
So
yeah.
we have to live in a world where now we assume that this is just out
It's
there.
out there.
You need to solve the problem on the front end.
Dr. Donovan?
That never should have been allowed in the first place.
Ms. Bickert?
Again, we think that it is very important to give people control over their data, and we're doing our best to make sure that we're doing that.
So I'm out of time, but thank you, Madam Chair.